Very excited to get to wear a suit again, and a special pair of sneakers that we had custom made. It's the 30-year anniversary of Coaches versus Cancer, again started by Norm Stewart, and it's to bring awareness to cancer research, screening, and what we did this year was to talk to everybody in our office, get a name. So we have 30 names that are on my shoes. It's not just people that I know, it's impacted everybody. Quay Jones on our staff was diagnosed with leukemia at the age of 4. His name's on there. I've got my sister-in-law on there, Susan's sister, Cindy Burnside, along with 28 others. And so meaningful pair of shoes to everybody. And again, bringing screening and attention to cancer, and we're north of $155 million raised for cancer research, and it's exciting that a group of people, being basketball coaches, get together 1 week a year and do it to bring attention to something that affects all of us. So very excited to be a part of that. And kept going back to a high level game in Evanston. Had a shot to win it, didn't do that. Got a great look. I would run that play many times over in that situation. I got a great look, and in the last 10 minutes of that game, there were a lot of high level plays being made on both ends of the court, and then we made a couple of defensive mistakes to start the overtime, and they capitalized. So, got to bounce back. Got a very talented Indiana team coming in here. Elite front line in terms of size and athleticism. A team that has been spectacular at times. I think they're a team that with Khalil at the rim, Renault, can present some problems. They're shooting the ball better, but a team that competes, plays very hard, and will have to be good.
Brad, what are your takeaways about your team? It's one of the first, maybe where the end of the game was in the balance in the late minutes, was still in doubt. What did you learn from your team about how they executed down the stretch?
Yeah, we executed fine. I think that it's kind of an NBA game. When you look back, there was a lot of really hard shots made by both teams. I liked our fight. We had 21 rebounds, offensive rebounds. We had some tip-ins that didn't go. That's kind of the way the ball rolls. Ty Berry makes a really hard step back three that not many guys in college basketball can make, and had a hand in his face. And so I just thought it was a game that was, kind of came down to who had it last, and we had a great opportunity, and then we did make a couple defensive mistakes, which probably most important out of that watching film. We did make some scouting report mistakes, which we have not been making, and we have to clean those up.
Along those lines, those defensive things, what has been the focus last couple days in practice, and what are some keys here against Indiana?
Yeah, it's a completely different type of game. It's a completely different team in terms of you're looking at a team in Northwestern that's very guard oriented. This one's not. Malik's a guy that can score the rim. At the rim, he steps out and shoots threes. Khalil's 7 foot, 7'1". Great lob catcher. So it's a different type of game. We are who we are defensively. We've got to become better at not making what we call scouting report mistakes. And again, I thought it wasn't as bad on film as I thought maybe watching it in person. They just hit some hard shots. So again, we've got to clean a few things up, but again, we'll every day's a new game and new challenge.
Some of those defensive things, especially in the five-way switching, is that mostly communication based?
Isolation based. And again, boo's special. Boo's a different. Not everybody has a boo. Guy that's especially with the game on the line, doesn't miss very often. He made hard shots. He threw up a running top of the key 1 foot floater that went in. He makes those. There's not hardly many guys in college basketball that make those. Again, I give them a lot of credit. We've got to do a better job in shrinking some gaps and doing some things a little different. But schematically, it's been what we do. And I probably went to the five-way switching too early. In retrospect, I would have liked to probably stayed with that, but stayed away from it if I had to do over again. But I don't. So it's been good for us throughout most of the season, and that night it wasn't.
Malik Renault is Indiana's leading scorer. He's proven that he can be a threat from behind the arc. For such a versatile player, what's it going to take to contain him tomorrow?
Yeah, you got to work. Got to make his catches hard wherever he scores it. He's got physicality. He's a guy that will shoot an occasional three, but he's probably most comfortable within the 15-foot range. He's a left-hander. He's he's a guy that's their priority. They go to him in various different looks. They've got more weapons than just him, but he is a guy that on any given night can get 20 to 30 if you don't make his catches hard.
For somebody that played the 3 and the 4 at Southern, is Marcus playing the role you envisioned for him, or has he carved out something you didn't even see when you brought him in here?
Well, we thought he'd be more of a small forward. We knew he'd be a wing. That's what we envisioned with him as a wing who could post. 4 men in our league are, Khalil Ware, 7'1", or they're a little bigger than what you see in some of the other leagues in the country. But as a small forward, we thought that he could handle the ball. We knew we could put him in ball screen situations, but we love the matchup. And again, he's a matchup challenge, because if you do put 4s and 5s on him, he's going to play in ball screens, and he's going to cause matchup problems. And if you put smaller guys on him, he's an obvious post threat. So he's filled out what we thought would be a wing spot opposite TJ.
Did you think he would be a guy that could bring it up and get you in
Yeah.
where you wanted?
Yeah, he did that in the Southern some, and again, a lot of that's matchup based. And, he's very, very high IQ, so figuring out what position to play in was really kind of the most minute detail. It was we knew early on we would give him the ball. We did some of that with Coleman last year. It's not abnormal for us to do that, but most of it was in our recruitment process with him was about the matchup, and we knew he had the versatility to cause a lot of problems.
Coach, when you have a guy like Terrence who's missed significant time, are there some things you can do to help him kind of get his rhythm back? And have you had that situation before with a player where you had to reintegrate him back into the flow?
We've had it almost every year. You forget Iowa missed games. You forget Curbelo missed games. You forget Kofi missed games. And it doesn't matter what the reason. When you're not practicing, you're not practicing. And whether it's I'm sure there's many more cases of that. It takes a minute, and time is is something that we're in a little bit of a crunch with right now, just because of the schedule. You know, we've got 15 straight days without a day off in games, and you know, so it's not like he's getting a ton of practice time. You know, we're going. We went pretty hard yesterday. We'll go getting hard today. Just for that, he had his best practice yesterday that he's had back, and you know, that's encouraging. The hardest challenge isn't the physical; it's the mental. It's the competing and the grind and the getting hit. And, you know, he's an elite athlete who's got his conditioning and stamina back pretty quick, and it's just getting back in the grind of things and the flow of things, and you know, all there's no doubt we know he'll be back to top form.
What kind of challenges does Khalil present if he is able to play tomorrow?
He's 7'1". He's an elite shot blocker. He can really run. He's a guy you got to guard at the 3-point line. He'll let him go from there. And again, he's a guy that's elite at protecting the rim. I mean, he's just a special athlete. You got to be very careful with him off the ball, because he goes to rare air in terms of catching lobs and doing different things. If you're off penetration or any sort. So yeah, you've got to. He's got a gift in terms of that height and athleticism, and you got to be alert to him all the time.
With Terrence, are there certain things that you maybe emphasized for him, or that he can emphasize to maybe help facilitate just getting back into the rhythm?
Guard, rebound. The one thing the shooting, the offense, all of that will come. That just comes. That comes and goes for every single player. That part, he's in his routines. He's getting up. He's shooting a million balls. You know, just we need more than 4 rebounds in his 2 games back from him. We need him to be, you know, back more active, you know, on that side of things. And once he does that, you know, Terrence is a guy that his defense always drives his offense. And when he gets back doing those things, you know, we'll know he's fully back.
Across the league, we've seen how important home court has been this year in conference play. How hard has it proven to been to win on the road in the Big Ten so far this season?
Yeah, I said it earlier this morning in an interview. I've been in a lot of leagues, and I've never been in a league where literally it's every venue is a sellout, and every venue is basketball intelligent fans, and it's so challenging, and it's so difficult, and you know, you have to create your own emotion, your own toughness. I was so proud of our guys the other night, and just, you know, that is a team. Northwestern is a team that is exceptional at home. Their margins are completely different home and road, and the role players play so much better at home, and have a chance to win. I mean, they beat Purdue in there for a reason, and it's very difficult. It was very loud, as loud as I've ever heard it in that building. But it's that way for almost everywhere you go in this league, and you know, I think it's the mental part as much as the physical part. In terms of traveling, we play every night of the week. You get in these swings where you're playing every 2 nights. You get home at 2 in the morning, and you have to go. You have to raise your level. And it doesn't matter. It's, if you don't play well in this league, home and road, you're gonna get beat.
But I know we talked a lot about Quincy merging the Syracuse and the Oregon versions of himself, and it looks like he's done that. Like, is that physically, is there something that he's unlocked since being here? Is it more of a mental, like an aggressive thing on the rebounds? Like, what's allowed him to pair those 2 versions together?
You know, I think he's playing a position that he's really comfortable with. I think he's playing in a style that's really comfortable. I think the playing fast, you know, the man-to-man stuff gives you blockout responsibilities, gives you some accountability, but you know, I think we've emphasized it. I think we've demanded it. You know, he's kind of been a walking double-double. We kind of expect that. I'm shocked every night I look down, and when he doesn't have 15 rebounds, I'm surprised because he competes. And you know, I thought he turned down shots the other night. We all did. I think it was one of our biggest issues on the offensive side, was turning down shots. But he's just kind of felt comfortable, and I think he's old enough, mature enough to kind of put it all together.
A little off topic, but some news broke today that next year the conference is gonna stick with 20 conference games in the expanded conference, and bottom three probably won't be making the tournament, the conference tournament. Do you have some thoughts on that or an opinion on it?
Yeah, I think it was pretty much, you know, voted on by the coaches to kind of keep it at 20. I don't know how long that will be. I think there's a lot of issues that we have to look at in terms of the tournament, in terms of some of the challenges that present itself. I think location, where that tournament is at, is a big issue. I think that, you know, we started looking at expanded number of days to try to get a venue. I think trying to protect your top 4 seeds for the NCAA tournament. You can't ask them to start playing 4 or 5 games. All those things are relatively important to the conference tournament, and then future, you know, NCAA tournament success. We are going to play on Sunday. We're going to play the game before the selection show. That's a given. And you know, where that tournament becomes will be, I think, equally as important for those teams and getting to and from. And so I think it was, I think, pretty unanimous throughout that we do that for the time being, and then we'll figure out how what the schedule looks and what games we play in December and how we do that and when are all vital, because we've got academic challenges all around us with teams on quarter systems and trimesters and semesters and everything else. So I think it becomes, there's a lot of work to be done there to figure out actual scheduling.
As we get to February, are you happy, or thoughts on what you're getting out of your bench right now? Is this the last 2 months? You ask for more out of what you're getting out of your bench?
I think we're finally starting to feel comfortable with Nico. I think we're getting close with Amani, getting him back. I think, I've got to figure out how to incorporate Dane in certain situations and in games. And I think for the most part, Justin's been great. I think it's been a positive and it's been a negative, having guys out and now we're kind of, as we get to February, we're kind of getting whole again. And, so having a little time to, make sure we're peaking right and playing right and getting guys the right opportunities we had, down the stretch here is vital. But I feel really, really good about it.
So last one, Scott.
You mentioned just with the way the schedule is set up right now, just maybe not having time for Terrence and comfortable. Just what, I guess, in the last 6 years have you figured out about the Big Ten when it gets to this point of the year, and maybe in terms of managing it, the best way possible?
Yeah, sometimes you don't have any say. You just don't have any. We're in the middle of, I don't know, Derek. What do we have? 5 straight. We have 5 straight with 2-day preps without days off, and there's more value in some days in not doing anything other than watching film. You play 8 o'clock games, you get home at 2 in the morning. That's just that's part of life in the Big Ten, playing every day of the week. That's it. It's not just us. I think everybody goes through that, and that's going to be the case when you play games 7 days a week. there's gonna be some level of that. So I think it's just managing it. I think it's just understanding that it is what it is, and you do what's best for your team. It can be different every year. You know, you've got maximize your rest when you can get it, and when you can't, you better buckle up and strap it on and be a tough son of a bitch, or you're gonna get your butt beat, and that's just the reality of it.